Hey YouTube, Ultra Magnum here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Fanstoys Goose, the masterpiece representation of Skydive. I'm going to rate this guy from 1 to 10 on a number of categories, so stay tuned to the end to see how he does. Onto accessories, and he doesn't come with many, but to be honest, I don't think he needs to. So he's got two identical blasters. They're both really nicely sculpted and really nicely painted actually. It's a nice kind of flecked gunmetal grey. In terms of usability, these just stay in perfect without any kind of wobble or having to close the fist to keep them in. It also comes with an alternate, hey, who took the last slice of pizza face? So for me, this is good stuff because he may not have tons of accessories, but he has the right accessories for the figure and they're really quality. 10 out of 10. And onto Poseability, and he can definitely pull off the roundhouse test, which for me demonstrates the balance, weight distribution, and general quality of the Poseability. So it's like an extreme test for me. So that being said, he covers the ground in all areas for me. So he has flexibility in the arms, legs, there's great head movement up and down. There's just a real range of things that you can do with this figure, and I'm really happy with this, to be honest. So 10 out of 10. Onto steadiness, and he's got superb foot support. He's got the heel flaps at the back, stop him rocking over, steady construction in the legs, and they're solid. You know, there's die-cast metal in the thighs. He does have the backpack, which creates a bit of a dynamic, if you like, so you can't lean this figure back too far without him kind of rocking back. Not that you particularly want to, but it's something to bear in mind. So it's not a super steady figure, but it is a really steady figure, if that makes sense. So I'm going to give him 8 out of 10 for that. Onto face sculpt, and it is absolutely excellent in terms of quality and execution and finish. So brilliant paint, brilliant detail, really good stuff. However, it's not fully accurate to Skydive, the cartoon, the G1 if you like, because the character had a much bigger chin and wider cheeks, and these bits on the side of the helmet were kind of more pronounced. So I have to kind of reflect that. It does look great. I mean, it looks really great and suits the toy, the actual figure that you have, but it doesn't quite reflect the original character as much as you'd like. So I have to knock 2 points off for that. So 8 out of 10. The Optimus Test. So this is a toughie, frankly, because this figure here's knockout in all respects, apart from scale. He's too big. He's just too big. And that is in comparison to pretty much every other masterpiece scale figure that we've had to date, whether that's Takara or third party, apart from, of course, the Fanstoys scale, where I think he probably fits more in line. So here he is next to Op Leader, and you know, Op Leader's about the same size as the official Takara, and you can see, I mean, he's on a par, and that for me feels too big. He's probably like at least a head too tall. Maybe some of it, you know, if this piece in robot mode could be collapsed somewhat in line with the kind of cartoon, or just minimized, that might have a bit of an impact. It's I don't know, it's a real tough one. You've got to say that Fanstoys, I think, have their own internal consistency that is not shared with any other line, which is different to all other lines. So really, you know, what you could say is that Fanstoys, you know, it's upon them to bring out their own Optimus and set the standard, as it were, if that's what they're kind of aiming for. So, you know, in terms of the Optimus test, scale test for me, I think I've got to knock a few points off because he doesn't fit with anything else really. So 7 out of 10. Onto quality, and you can't criticize this figure really at all in terms of quality, because the second you pick it out of the box, you are left in awe of the finish and the sturdiness of the figure. I mean, the paint alone is just exceptional. And then you take in the extra detail, so the bits that are kind of sculpted underneath the translucent bits on the front, but it even extends, so they do things that you don't really have to, like sculpt on the inside of the legs. You never see this. You don't see it in bot mode, and you don't see it in alt mode. So putting that extra detail in is like real, there's attention to detail all over this figure. And like I said, the paint is just exceptional. Even the darker bits are covered in this nice flecked gunmetal kind of paint. Really good. In terms of cleanup, from the front, he's brilliant, really good. From the side too, the legs look great. Obviously he has the backpack, but then the original thing in terms of cartoon and figure, etc., had that backpack. It's by necessity, and it's because of the finish and the detail on this as well. It's not even an issue, you expect it, and it's there, and it looks great. So the quality is just absolutely insane on this figure. 10 out of 10. Onto presents, and the presents follows the quality, because he just looks really great. I mean, he looks really great. Stood on the shelf. It's got all the poseability and finish everywhere and all of those kind of things. Great character. It's top notch. It really is top notch. 10 out of 10 on presents. Onto engineering, and I think most people who've had Fanstoys figures expect a level of intricacy in terms of transformation, the way things are put together and the way things move, etc. And this has some of that, but it's minimal. And the bits that it does have that are kind of a little bit faffy, it centers around the wings and how these all unfold and then collapse onto the bot, to make it into the plane. It's super sturdy stuff, so everything is sturdy. There is nothing that is fiddly or finicky in any which way, and all of the quality that's evident in the outer figure, as it were, is also evident in the engineering, the hardware, the way that the transformations are put together, the way that the bot and the alt mode are put together. So it's top-notch stuff on this figure. It is really good engineering. 10 out of 10. Transformation wise, it's an intuitive transformation, because you basically you know where you're starting from and you know what you're aiming for. So it's not complicated in terms of what it's trying to do. There are a couple of kind of little details that you just have to work at a little bit. So on the arms, sometimes these don't align straight away. That one did actually. I've had to faff for the other one for a couple of minutes. I think the way that these bits collapse into the shoulder, that for some reason is quite a tough little move to make, and you just have to kind of go for it and put your faith in the quality of the figure, which is there to support it. So that's good. I think some of this down here you need to be a little bit careful of with the legs. So I lift these up when I'm kind of combiner warring the legs up, because I just don't want the paint to rub on the red there. So this is it's okay to do, to be honest. It's not the worst, but you just have to be careful of things knocking against each other. I think once you open it out to this stage, the wings get a little bit annoying. They're kind of flapping around and stuff while you're doing things, but it's not as bad as on other Fanstoys figures. So this is all sturdy stuff that connects these things together. So it's an annoyance, but it's not something that you have to kind of worry about. When you get to the top, some of this stuff can be a little bit panly, but it's not too bad. There's not many things that you kind of have to squeeze into place. Just a little bit. This is a little bit awkward to kind of fiddle around with, but the sturdiness of this central piece that holds the cockpit, etc., in place is so good. You're not really worried about anything. It's just a bit of a faff, that's all. So it's a good transformation actually overall on this figure. There are no bits that you kind of working at for ages and ages and lining things up and all that kind of stuff. There's a tiny bit of that. It's you know, it's a Fanstoys construction, so there is a bit of stuff, if you like, but overall it's a good, intuitive, fun transformation. So I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. Okay, on to alt mode, and this figure is an absolute beaut. It is insane, the quality of finish that is present on this. The paint is just absolutely, it's different. It's a different level. So from the little touches, like the lightning strike here has the shiny gloss black outline set against the black of the wings, which is sort of a gunmetal finish. The tail fin is incredible. I mean, you can just see that in the photos already, but in hand it is really exceptional. I like the fact that the cockpit is a different finish to everything else. It's kind of a black translucent. There's sculpt and detail all over, and it follows through to the cockpit, which you can open, and there's a seat there, and even little details on the inside. It's a different level of finish in terms of alt mode, frankly. If you're going to be critical, you could look at the side and the underside and say, well, there you go, there's the bot. And yes, this stuff you can kind of see. The engineering, the transformation does a great job of tucking these things away, I'll say, in defense. However, you know, as a critical point, yes, that stuff is visible, and if it was going to be fully, completely finished and really, you know, 10 out of 10, you'd argue that this stuff could clean up somehow. I don't know. I mean, that feels so harsh because the top part of it is so great. It kind of, that draws all the attention, if you like, but I have to take critical point off for the underside, so I'm going to give it a reluctant 9 out of 10. Now, before I do final scores, I just thought it'd be worth mentioning that this guy took a little less than 10 minutes to get back from alt mode to robot mode, and I think that's a useful indicator that I'm gonna start adding to my videos going forward, because it'll just give you a little flavor of the complexity of the transformation and the engineering, and if there are any kind of sticky points, etc. But going to the final score, so this guy gets a whopping 9.1 out of 10, and that reflects what a great figure it is. If you want a recommendation, I would recommend you go out and buy this, because he is insanely good in terms of quality, sculpt, the finish, the engineering, absolutely everything is top notch on this figure. He looks great. He's got the poseability. There is one downside, and that's the scale. He looks too big compared to anything else that's in any other line from any other brand. However, if you're in the market for Fanstoys stuff, that probably won't bother you. You know, there is something to consider about the overall group of aerial bots that are coming from Fanstoys. He will look great with the rest of them. And also, one thing I will point out is that there is such a heft and quality in this. I didn't mention it anywhere else, but I need to point it out here, that it gives me great confidence in terms of the overall combined Superion. So I have a bit of a worry generally with Fanstoys, with these combiners, the this and the Menasor, that the weight of the figures might create topple issues. If this is going to be a leg, this is a very sturdy leg. So that is something to note, definitely. But yeah, overall, great figure, really great. I'm so happy with this figure. So yeah, anyway, Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave comments down below and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye for now.